Hey guys, how are you doing? How's your day going? And we're just starting. How was your night? Hope you had while having an amazing and beautiful day. Today, we are going to be finally implementing some frameworks. I have a list of frameworks that we are going to cover, but we are not going to do everything in one video. So we are going to split it out. Today we're going to be touching a framework that it's mainly used for data visualization. This is when you're going more into data science, data analysis, you would want to know this. Another alternative to this, you could have things like matplotlib. They're different ones. If you want to do it without Python, you'd look at things like Tabla and Power BI. But no, today we're going to be touching on the dash. But before we go into that, let's have a general understanding of what frameworks are. Sorry. Frameworks are essential tools in software development that provide a foundation for building applications. They offer a structured environment for reusable components, libraries, and tools, allowing developers to focus on creating specific features rather than building every single thing from scratch. So Python has many frameworks catering to different needs such as web development, where under that you have things like Django, Flask for data visualization. Like I said, you have things like Plotly, etc. Machine learning, you have things like scikit-learn, TensorFlow, and more. There are so many things you can do, even when it's once going into GUI, game development, app development, all of which we would touch on a little bit. Oh, my listening is never responding. So a framework is a collection of pre-written code that provides a structure and common functionality to build and deploy applications efficiently. Frameworks typically include libraries, tools, and best practices that help developers avoid common pitfalls and write clean and maintainable code. Some of the types of frameworks, like I said earlier, are the web frameworks like Django and Flask, data visualization frameworks used to create interactive and visual representation of data like Plotly, Dash, and Bouquet. Machine learning frameworks used to develop models, machine learning models like TensorFlow, PyTorch, and yeah. So for us to get started with this Plotly, we need to pip install Dash. So once you run it and it's installed, we can hop on to the next phase. So let's just work on a simple project with Dash. So to just sit down and say we want to just cover every single thing, especially when you're working with general frameworks, technically sometimes gets to get confusing a bit. So basically what you just do is work with project, and as you're working on the project you get an understanding of how the environment works, so that down the line you too can work on your own project. So today we're just going to do like a simple intro. Like I said, this Everything Python series is just to introduce you to everything. It's not in depth. So if you want us to do in depth, or if you want us to just be working on projects, maybe I can start in it maybe where every Saturday or so we work on projects with any framework you choose. So if you want us to work on like specific projects, we can do that. But first let's just import Dash. Then we're going to import the dash component. So we have the core component and the HTML component, because the way the dash displays its data, it creates almost like a web. I don't know how to explain it, but almost like a web front. It creates a web front for it which can interact with. So we'll say import dash underscore core underscore component. So that's too long to be typing, so we import it as DCC. Then once we import the HTML component, let's just import that as HTML. We need to import the dependencies, but not every single thing. So just from dash dot dependencies, we want to import input and output. And now we're going to use Plotly. So Plotly is more similar to Matplotlib. It helps you in graphing. But unlike Matplotlib, I think I have a video on my TikTok where I compared both of them. Matplotlib is more static, while Plotly is more graphical.
Okay, so I can see a video of asking people to vote which they prefer. Maybe say one plotly or see one. Generally, whenever I'm trying to, I'm like merging it with smart plotly and see one together. Probably shouldn't. But when I started learning, I was learning them as like Sibon's an extension of smart plotly basically. But as I started doing my visualization using Streamlit instead of Power BI, I came across plotly. I feel like we should be pushing plotly more. Because let me show you something. So I'm doing an analysis. I'm comparing two companies stocks over a period of time, right? And usually this what would have like just basic Matplotlib. If you use Cbon, it's going to look quite similar. So we just have a static graph, nothing special, right? This is the code of it here. How many lines is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, this is even lesser than. So this is the Plotly code, right? Look at this. So from me looking at it, it looks. I mean, it obviously looks fine, but it looks quite the same. Over it's an interactive graph. I don't know exactly so happy, but I feel they should have been teaching us this. Like I think it's like very interactive. That's why I thought it's best when you want to like use on-site visualization because it's you just instead of just having a static graph like it's just a picture because this is just a picture. You can literally do nothing. If you haven't, it's like I don't know. It feels like trash. Oh gosh. So like Plotly is just like bait. It's just bait. It's everything. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll import Plotly. And we're going to import pandas, which will allow us to access the data we want to use. God, what's wrong with the system? Okay, so now for the data, in this tutorial, we're going to create our own manual data. But had you had your own CSV file, this one is just a quick what do you call it? A quick pandas tutorial. So had you had a CSV file, you will save what it is you want to access into a variable. That's going to be equals to pd. I don't know where my system is. Dot read underscore whatever format the file is. So it can either be read underscore CSV or JSON or Excel. But for this one here, we're going to create our own using pd.dataframe, which allows you to create a data frame, almost like what we did um, before. So pd.dataframe. Then we're going to now create kind of like a dictionary because we need to pair each column. So an individual column is going to be a series. So we need the name and the content or the values in each of the rows. So the first one, let's just have fruits. So this is going to be kind of like our key. Then within it, we're now going to have a list of all the probable values. So let's have. So we need to have like some similar values so that we can kind of like be graphing on it. So we just have apples, all other fruits. Just copy this. Okay. Next, let's have amounts. So we're going to have another list. The list should be equivalent to it. So if we'll have, let's say, just random values, and let's just have one more city. So we'll know where it was being sold and what city has the highest population of this or that. We're just trying to have an interactive data. We just need for three because we have three different fruits. Okay, so we have our data ready now to plot. Generally, usually they'll ask you whenever you want to graph out or visualize the data, it's always going to be what are you trying to extract from that data? Because this is a very basic one. Like maybe in another video would work like a proper data what do you call it? With a proper data since I'll just get a proper data file and work with that. But it's going to be more like given this data, what do I need to extract? Depending on what data is available for to you, you would need to know, okay, these are the details needed, these are the data. And if I'm working with a separate CSV, we need to now actually clean that data. So I have a whole video on my YouTube where we actually talked about that. Maybe I'll link this on one of the cards or at the end of the video where we dove deep into like cleaning data, working with data and then visualizing the data. Well, yeah, so now let's create the Dash application and define the layout. So we'll define the app. It's going to be equals to Dash. Oh, am I still in caps lock? Just have name. Now we want to define, start working on the layout. We're going to have app.layout is equals to HTML dot. So HTML has the div elements which are just going to start implementing gradually. So we're going to be calling, so whenever I want to use any HTML tags, you just use HTML dot the tag you want to use. So children is going to be equals to HTML. Let's just have the header tag, which if you're familiar with HTML, you know you have H1 to H6, H1 being the um first header, I guess, is the largest one. So we have H1 and then we're now going to have what, so when you want to define the content, kind of like, so in HTML when you're defining tags, you have let me just, do I have any HTML tag we can use? Let me just use this one and show you. So in HTML when you're defining tags, you have your tag, you have H1, then you have your closing tags. So within that tag, you have a content. Let's say in this case, fruit sales in different cities. So in this case now here, since we're not making use of tags, we'll now use children to sort of define the content we want to be within the specific tags. So after we've done HTML dot the tag within the children is now going to serve as the opening and the closing tag. So we'll have children. I'll just have just copy and paste. Then next thing we want to now define certain components, like so there are certain features. So this is no longer, we're no longer working with HTML, we're now using Dash's own core component and they have something called drop down. So if we're working with for maybe we want to filter by fruit or want to filter by cities. So we can give a drop down so that the users can click on there. So we're going to do, let me see. So we're going to say DCC dot drop down. We're going to now give it an ID, so to kind of like almost like the way you would usually work with your forms. So you'll be able to identify it and add actions to it. So you would use the ID and what the ID is for. So in this case, let's filter by city. So we'll filter by city. I will now list out all the available options that can be filtered by. So we'll have label and the name of the option have wanted to be displayed, then the value irrespective to the data in the data frame we just displayed up there. Okay, then we'll just have a default value. So that once it loads, because you would want something to be showing once it loads at first. So now let's actually have the graph that we want to be displayed. DCC dot graph, and we'll also give the graph an ID. Okay. Um, let me see. All right. Next, let's start adding the interactive callbacks using all these IDs that we just defined now. So this one is now going to be almost giving off a little bit of JavaScript functionality if we were using like normal front end to everything. So have app.callback. We'll define our output, which is going to be our fruit sales graph, because that is what the output user is trying to get is. And we would want to define our input. So the input is going to be the drop down, because that is what is going to send, okay, using receive this input and give us a respective output for that input. So it's going to be input city drop down. Then we'll just define a function that will actually help us update the graph respectively. So we're going to say def update graph. So from the df, we would want a new df that now only has the info of the city we have selected. So this one just a little bit of pandas functionality we're doing here is under what do you call it again? Not clean the data, but what is it called? It just clean data is under it, but I keep forgetting the name. I'm not good the name. But this is when you take a data set and you clean it, remove all null values, filter it, so on and so forth. I need to find what names even I'll not be able to continue. Let me just quickly check that. Um it starts with exploratory data analysis. Yeah, I didn't even see what I was looking for, but yeah, exploratory data analysis. So these are some of the functionalities that would, and so we're just going to filter out and get only the city which we need. Um, so we're accessing from the city column. I want to check for all the values in the city columns, check for anyone that is equals to the selected city. Yeah. And then for our figure, so you can choose you can choose any um graph you want. There are a bunch of them, so I would have a proper documentation. I'll link the official dash documentation below. You can also go and check my blog for proper documentation. But yeah, we'll just use a bar chart because like that is the most basic one. So you just do px, that's for the plotly bar. So we're going to pass in our filtered df and we'll define what we want each value to be. So x is going to be the fruit. So now we're just treating it like we're accessing directly from um the data table. So fruit and y is going to be the amount. And then you can now choose. So let's say if you don't want everything to be one plain color, you don't want to define default color, you can color it based on and a particular element in the graph. So since this graph is limited, I don't have much things. We'll just use either fruit or amount to color it. So we'll just color. So usually what will happen is each fruit will have their own unique color. You know the way pie chart usually works. Each fruit will have their own color. So on the bar chart, any place where a fruit is shown will have a unique color. So each fruit's color would be different. And yeah, so you can just check the documentation for there are so many other arguments you can pass um into it. So as you read up on it, you'll get better. We'll keep working on more projects. So if the video is not going to be too long, we'll carry out on that one. If not, we'll do a unique video where we work on more projects. So after you're done with that, we want to return. Why was this stuff not even indenting? Okay, after that, we want to return the figure because that is the output the user wants. Once it's done now, we want to actually run our app. So you'd run it the way you'd run any main function normally. Events underscore me underscore is equals to me app dot run underscore server. Okay, and now we're going to run the app. So you just run it the normal way you would any Python app, which I realized that I don't think I've run a Python app directly. So you want to run a Python app instead of just using this run function like I've been using throughout the series. Python, then the name of the file, in this case test.py, you must add the extension. If you want, it should give us a server side where we should be able to view it. What is the error? Okay, this put the div within the parentheses, it shouldn't be. So we'll close the app callback here. Is it? Uh, Okay, that should be it now. Okay, training. So yeah, it's finally running. My system is really slow, but as you can see, they've told us this is the link where it's currently running on. Then they did make some changes, so we need to update some of our imports. We're using an outdated version of the code, but we'll get to that in our next project. Let's just visit the site where it's running on. Now, this is very ugly as of now, but what's the error that I was even showing? Oh, I was supposed to put bar. I put beer. Forgive me. Let me edit that. Okay, it's supposed to be bar. And I even say the bar as I was talking. As you save it, it should automatically update. Let's go back and refresh it. So I put me up with all of my whiskey. Then I inject the history. Just give it a minute to update. Or should we rerun it again? Okay. Alright, so on New York City, we can see for fruit. So you were using Matplotlib now. All these hovering over and these pop up stuffs don't show. But okay, so we have apples amount to oranges amount 4, bananas amount 5. At the side, you can see what each color. Because remember, we did color by fruit, so you can see what each color represents. Even though we have it already, so it's kind of like counterproductive. So we had more features. I'm going to do a video where we work with the proper data. But if you were to do San Francisco, you can see the value changes as you switch between it. So you can style it, you can make it better. So we are going to work on that project completely in the next video. Yeah, or should we do it in this video? Let me see how many minutes we're in. If we're not long in the much video, we'll do it now. Alright, so we're going to work on one project. So I have a CSV file here. I would how you guys get access to it. I would leave a link to the CSV file in the description below so you can access it. No, I'll leave the CSV file, the download link on my blog, so you can head over to my blog and get it But this is the file. We have company score, job title, location, date, and salary. So we have a long list of data. So since this is an external data we're getting, we need to just clean the data a bit so that we would not get errors or misguided um data. So the first thing we need to do is actually import our data. So we're going to do this by using pandas. So we're going to import pandas as PD. Then, like I said earlier, if you want to import a CSV file, you do df is going to be equals to pd dot read underscore CSV, and the name of the file, which is software engineering salaries. Then let's just print the this thing to see it. So df dot head. So this is just going to print the first five um, rows of our data. Okay, all right. So if you want to get the total like elements, like the total count of everything, is just df dot shape. So we have 870 rows and 6 columns, but we're not doing pandas. So next we want to just do some exploration on the data. So let's print and let's just get a summary of the total statistics on the data. I don't know how I pronounce it like that. Describe, describe. So the total um elements on that company score, so it's not up to 890. So we know there are some null elements, mean, max, and so on and so forth. So this describe only carries out action on elements with let's okay. Let's do for total unique values per columns. I'm just trying to get like a general idea of what type of data we are going to use for our chart. So we'll do n unique. So these are the total amount of unique elements in each column. And one more thing we want to now check is to get the total amount of null values. So we would know if we remove it, if it's going to affect the data. Technically now, since we're not really training a model with this data, it's not as much as it's not as crucial as it would be if we were. But just to get a total idea, we just all right. So for the salary, that is a large amount, but just since, like I said, we're not training data, we'll just drop all the null ones so that our this stuff will not be too, how do you say it? So let's drop the null. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to drop any. So we're going to df is going to be equal to df dot drop na. And now the null values are all zero. Alright, so let's just import all the other plugins would need dash, would need like let's do the method they said we should use in the error they gave us from dash import dcc and html, then plot leaf our graph. Alright. So first we want to initialize the dash app. We're going to say app is going to be equals to dash dot dash. Then want to get the app layout so we can start implementing our code into it. So we're going to say app dot layout is equals to html dot div parentheses. Children is equals to square brace. And within it, we're now going to have our h1. So we'll just call this one company analysis. Then we can now start listing out our graph. So dcc dot graph. So we're first going to pass the ID of the graph so we can carry out actions on it. So this first one, let's just get for the salary distribution. This oh god, distribution. Okay. Then we want this one to be a box plot. So let's define the figure. Then we're just going to pass. I don't know why I keep spelling this box wrong every time. So we're going to pass. So the first argument is going to be what data frame is getting its figures from. Next, we are going to define what X is. Let's just open our CSV file. So we want to get the company. So in our CSV file, it is called company. So our X is going to be equal to, then our Y is going to be equal to salary. Is that okay? Then let's just give the plot. Since we're going to have multiple charts in this one, we need to name it individually so we know what each chart is representing. So this one is salary distribution by company. Okay, and that should be enough. Next, let's have another chart. This one, let's have this one for their score distribution. So still by company. So it's going to be almost the same. So let's just copy that. So we have the ID for this one will be score distribution of salary. And we're still using DF, we're still using company, but here we're going to use company score. Now just change this to company score. Okay. Let's have another one. Let's do something with location. Should we still copy and paste it? Let's copy and paste it. So the ID for this one should be job location distribution. So instead of using a box plot, usually when you want to do things with location, you can either use a line or scatter. So a scatter plot is that one that will have all those dots all over. So we have a scatter plot. So we're still going to have DF. Our X is going to be location, and our Y is going to be salary. So you can know what area pays more. Then one more thing now, remember the color we did. We can even you on your own, you can even go add more colors to them. So remember I was saying like if you had more data, you can use like instead of using like for example now here we have companies, instead of using company as color again, you can use like another different thing as color. So let's do that here. So we can use job title as color. So color is going to be equal to, so you can also have a general idea of which profession is earning the most. Okay. And for the title, salary by location, and I guess job title. Alright. And comma. Should we have another one? Let's have another one. Let's have one more. Let's implement date salary trend. So we can have an idea of what period people made the most. Date salary trend. Okay, so for the figure, let's use a line chart for this one. Okay, so we have DF. Our X is going to be date, and our Y should be salary. For color, let's use company, and here I'll say salary trends over time. So it's almost like time series analysis. Okay, I think that should be all. So let's just run the app. All right. So let's run it. And just wait for it to come up. Uh, this is it. Company analysis is our first bar chart. So it's a little bit still hard to see, but if you hover over it, you can just briefly get some info on it. You can try to add color as an argument to handle them better. Same for here. Like I see the scatter plots when we did the color. So the colors are each signifying job title while we still have our location listed and the salary. So if you see like this blue one is software engineering, you'll notice that software engineers don't really make much, like a large amount of the lowest population, especially in the states over here. Software engineers don't make that much. Sad. Okay, that's the senior software engineer. Okay. And yeah, so this is basic. So if you wanted something more beautiful, there's what do you call it? This stream. It's another. It's similar. It also uses Plotly for its graph. What is it called? What is it called? I think is this stream something. Let me just quickly get the name. So maybe down the line we'll cover that. I think it's Streamlit. Yeah, Streamlit. So I have few projects on Streamlit. Let me just see if I can pull up my Streamlit. If I still remember. I've not visited it in a while though. Let me see if I can just pull it up. So the Streamlit, it's more beautiful. It allows you to have pages. It functions like a proper website. It's like beautiful. So these are some of my Streamlit apps. I've not really visited them in a while. So let me just wake them up. That was the very first one I did with Streamlit. Which one came up? Okay. So this one I did it for core analysis. I think it was based on like age groups. Yeah. It's not how beautiful Streamlit is. I think we'll do Streamlit. We'll do it on Streamlit. So I decided I have my sidebar which I can close and open up. Cigarette use prevalence analysis, so like statistic, the year with the highest cigarette use, they state to the highest cigarette use, the year with the lowest state to the lowest. Then here this one, so this side here is Streamlit. I'm using, I built a model that I trained the model, so that with the model you'll be able to get like certain predictions. So it will just tell you what numbers, because it's you cannot use text. I could have manually turned behind, but like I'm a lazy person, so I wanted them to put in the numbers themselves. So you just put in your numbers and it automatically get you your analysis. So it's running. And this model that is currently pushed, because I've not updated it, so I think the model that is up here is a bit faulty. Okay, sure, but you'll get you the analysis. Then this is bar charts. I use Plotly for the bar charts. This is what do they call this? What do they call this one? It uses heat, whatever, I can't remember. This bar chart. So this one you get different line analysis, but you can now do it based on, so like the color. So you can do something like comparing mental illness, but it's still going to be prevalence against here. You can do for employment. Yeah, and I really enjoyed this project. Then we have, I think this box plots supposed to be, and this one is batch a stacked box of batch chart. I don't know different. This one is box plot. View more info show. Okay, that is a redirected link. This one. But sure, yeah. So if you want me to do a tutorial on Streamlit, let me know in the comment section below. I think Streamlit is more beautiful. It gives you more control. You can actually use it like your creation is the only limitation you have. Oh my god, I like this one. This is the classification app. So and side by added like this one is this is where my model is. So you get your value once you like drag it and everything and everything. I can't remember what the calculation was for. But yeah, I was very uncreative with it. I just used box plot. Then I displayed the table of it here. This one was when I was having issues. So I wanted to be sure the model. So I used the decision tree, that is the scikit-learn model. We're going to enter scikit-learn shortly. And yeah, this one is still in the works. I wanted to just move all those my projects here, but I got distracted. But yeah, oh my god, if I went to the a tutorial on scikit-learn, I just realized that sorry, not scikit-learn, Streamlit, even scikit-learn too. Let me know in the description below. I really love this project. Is markup they use for this write up and everything. Yes, so it's really not that hard. See you guys in the next video. Bye guys.